My name is Jan Ghazi and you are watching A Cup of Conversation on BRT2 TV. In the studio with me this week is a lovely old friend of ours, and she's been on my programme before. She's been on the radio with my colleague Denise Phillips many times, and she's here all the way from the UK visiting her family in North Cyprus. And we've got a very interesting interview lined up with the lovely Nejla Avi. So first of all, Nejla, welcome to the programme once again.
Thank you.
It's great to see you here in the studios of Bayrak in North Cyprus. We've met a few times, but when was the last time you were on my TV programme? It's been over a year now, a year and a half?
Oh, definitely. I think it was the February, so it's about 18 months ago at least.
18 months ago?
Yeah.
So it's been a long time since we actually chatted on the television.
That's right.
Although in between you've been on Denise's radio programme, The Main Event, a couple of times on Bayrak National Radio, and you always make the kind effort to contact us before you get here, and we love to meet up with you. You're such a lovely person, very interesting lady to chat with, and so is your husband Simon as well. Great couple. And for those people who don't know about you, who maybe have missed the programmes on TV and radio before, you are half Turkish Cypriot, half English, is that right?
That's right. My father's Cypriot, my mum's English, but I was born and bred there because my dad lived in England for many, many years, but they finally retired over here.
And how many years ago was that then, that they moved out here?
Well, they started coming backwards and forwards for a while, but they've been permanently out here for about 6 years, I'd say, permanently. Yeah. So we tend to come and visit them, you know.
And they're based in Çatalköy, yes?
That's right, yes, yeah.
So you come out every now and then, or at least twice a year, you said, to come and visit them and to, you know, catch up with your mum and dad.
Yeah.
It's not easy being far away from your parents, but you're based in England with your own family.
That's right, yes.
You're married and you've got 2 boys, yes?
Yes.
So you're happy there now in the UK. The reason why you're such an interesting lady, for those who don't know about Nejla, is that, well, not like calling labels, but how would you, I mean, we always ask you, because you know you can describe yourself the way you want to be described, but how would you describe your profession at the moment?
Well, I'm a psychic. I call myself an intuitive psychic, and I'm also a healer and a teacher of psychic development classes, healing, and various other bits and pieces, all to do with the psychic world, really.
Very, very interesting. And I asked you before about, you know, how you knew you had this sort of psychic ability, and it stems back to your childhood, doesn't it?
That's right. When I was little, I was quite, or what I like to say, in tune with things, but I didn't really sort of recognise what it was really. And everyone used to say I had an overactive imagination and don't be silly, you know, you're imagining things. And eventually I just thought, oh, well, you know, I just sort of let it go really. And it was when I got older, I decided to, it just fell back into it really. And I started reading tarot cards for friends and family. And it developed so much that I was so busy that I finally left my day job, where I was in publishing, and I do this full time, and I've been doing that for nearly 2 years now, full time.
So you actually left your career in publishing?
Yes.
What were you doing? Were you with a big company?
I worked for a huge company in London. It was a really good job. I was one of the editors there, but I was also had a team of staff. I used to run a team of staff that worked at home workers.
Right.
And yes, I gave up a big career and a big salary to do what I love.
So this really is, you know, a major part of your life now. What became something that you had developed in childhood and you didn't really understand then, now this is your life, isn't it? This is what's your career. As you say, you gave up a normal 9 to 5 job for this, which is very, very interesting. And I have to say that, you know, I have to admit that, you know, I don't always understand or not understanding, but I don't always believe in everything that is said when it comes to superstition, or not superstitions, but you know, like the stars, or you know, reading into tarot cards and your angel cards. But I know a lot of people do, including my wife. I mentioned this before as well to you, with the angel cards. I mean, my wife is a big fan of the angel cards, and she picks one every day. She gets positive feedback from it. If she loses something, she calls the cards, and then she, you know, and then something in her mind says, well, yes, go look in the glove compartment of the car. It's probably there where you left it there, and it normally is where the angels tell her it is. But I have to admit, I'm going to step back a bit now and say I'm a bit of a skeptic. Although I do understand exactly, you know, that I believe that there are extra powers that, you know, we don't always see or understand about, that, you know, other forces in work in our life. How can you describe, I mean, when you say when you were younger, you were in tune, did you feel different? Was it things that other people wouldn't pick up on that made you feel that little bit different to, you know, other children of your own age at that time?
Yes, that's the thing. And also things like, you know, the phone would ring and I'd say, oh, that's Grandad saying that he's ready to go shopping or something, and I didn't even know he was going to phone, that sort of thing. I knew who it was, what they were going to say, things like that, really. And also, you know, I could pick up people's feelings. I knew if they were they weren't feeling well, even if they said they were, or they were feeling sad or happy, or their energies I'd pick up on. I used to watch the news and I'd be in tears because I could feel the energy of the person who was upset, I say, on the television, and I'd feel it and I'd be crying with them, you know. I was quite empathetic. And when you talk to other people, they sort of, oh, that doesn't sound right, you know, no, I don't notice anything, or I don't feel, you know, bad energy in here, or it feels negative. No, I don't notice anything. So I began to realise, you know, I think I was a bit strange, really. I was always the odd one.
Well, I mean, you know, obviously odd means it may be in that way different to other people. You know, it's not strange. I mean, as I say now, a lot of people are in tune. A lot of people are, or, you know, it's more acceptable now to go and have alternative therapy for things, to use crystals and to use, you know, cards and angels, and, you know, these are now words that are not unusual in our conversations, where maybe, let's say 15, 20 years ago, people would think, you know, what are you going on about, you know? But I mean, when you look at the things that every day, especially in North Cyprus, we drink a cup of coffee, turn it over, and have our fortunes read. Is that any more strange than, you know, looking at tarot cards? I don't think it is.
No, not at all. It's using a different tool.
Yeah.
There's so many tools you can use. Not everyone, some people are frightened of the tarot because they think, oh, dark energy. But again, it goes back to the occult and all that sort of stuff. Whether you use crystals, whether you use runes, cards, coffee cups, tea leaves, whatever it is, you still get, because what it is a tool to channel your intuition, so you get information about the person you're reading for. So you can do it in various ways, but as you say, more and more people are understanding or accepting it. Before, if you buy a pack of tarot cards, you'd have to go to a, you know, street in the back of Brighton where nobody would go, sort of thing, and get them in a plastic bag, sort of thing.
Side street, you know, coming up, you know,
exactly.
in a paper bag. I don't really buy this.
Whereas now, there's more and more new age shops opening everywhere. People are fed up with going to the doctors, so they will try alternative therapies, because a lot of people get a lot of stress these days, or depression. They're quite common, and that's the most I tend to treat people for healing. It's either they're quite depressed or they are very, very stressed. And they don't want to be on antidepressants or tablets for stress. They'd rather have a therapy which calms the energies down, gets them back in balance, and therefore, you know, they feel a lot better for it.
Having said that about, you know, side streets and, you know, not being in the or having new age shops, those angel cards that you've got there, which are also available here, are actually in major stores all across the island.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's not something that we, you know, there's actually a series of books there. You know, I think Becky Ilka is a lady in Turkey who often comes over to North Cyprus giving seminars. She's a woman who writes books about angels and stuff, and her books are on the top of the shelves in most bookstores here. So it's not something that is, you know, down the side street or hidden in specialist shops. But one thing I want to ask you is that, you know, reading tarot cards and reading coffee cups or tea leaves, okay, we see shapes and stuff, or the card tells us, but really, isn't it more up to you as a personal psychic or intuitive person to actually then read the messages there for that individual? Like, for instance, you might see in that cup, I might have coffee, you might read my cup and say, John, well, I've seen, a white piece of paper. Or I see a cat or a dog or a snake. You know, snake, you know, oh, snake's an enemy. You've got an enemy there, John. Someone's, you know, behind your back. But it's very general. But really, in a way, when you see shapes, they could mean anything. But to you, with that intuition, you actually, is it right that, you know, maybe you interpret that shape according to the person that you're reading it for?
Oh, definitely. I mean, for anything. And with the tarot, for example, you could pick the Justice card, just out of my head. And the Justice card could mean anything from a court case coming up, a prison sentence, it could be a contract, a document, it could be, you know, just the police around you or something, but you have to interpret what that's saying to you. So you look at everything and you feel, and I'd be saying, oh, you've got a document, maybe you're moving house, you need to make sure you check this document, it's coming up soon for you to deal with or whatever. Or I could be saying, you know, be careful, the police could be, you know, round the corner, so careful how you drive because you might get stopped or whatever. So you have to be in tune and pick up things. I teach tarot, so you teach the basics of the tarot. So I teach my students the various basic meanings of each card. But once you know that, that helps you tune in to what that card's telling you. So it's the person that's reading that's using their intuition through the tool they're using, whether it's coffee cups, cards or whatever, to be able to give you that reading. And you could have the same spread, say you sat there and someone was sitting next to you, picked exactly the same tarot cards, you'd have a different reading to the person next to you because those cards would be almost talking differently.
Yeah, according to the individual who picked them. What was the actual spur for you to leave your day job 2 years ago, let's say, roughly? You say you've been doing this now for 2 years, your tarot work and everything. What was the actual thing that triggered your mind and said, you know what, enough of 9 to 5, I want to go where my heart wants to take me, I want to do what I really love. How did that happen, Neja, for you?
It happened accidentally, actually, to start with. What happened was I started, my work moved to the other side of London, and I was working from home mainly, and I missed people because I like chatting to people. And I did miss that, and although I went in occasionally, it got less and less because we have Skype meetings and everything. So I very rarely saw people, so I wanted to do something. So I just started doing classes as a sideline, and I thought, what can I do? So I started psychic development classes, really. And the first one I did had 2 people turn up. So it took a while to build, but it started building and building. And then people say, can you teach tarot? Do you do this? Do you do that? Can I have a reading? And I eventually just did more and more and more, and I was doing this as a sideline, and it got so busy, and what I found was I had more fulfillment helping people, and people saying, oh, thank you so much, it's really, really helped me for this, that or the other, and seeing people grow and learn and stuff, and I just felt that much more satisfying. And I always had that feeling that I was eventually going to go, because I just felt, it was my gut feeling that that's what I needed to do. And I just got this opportunity, it came around, I just thought, you know what, this is it. So I took my chance, so I waited it was the end of the year, the December, and I thought, that's it, and I remember my boss saying to me, let me see what we can offer you to get you to stay. And I said to him, I don't want you to tell me, I want to go. So I did. Yeah,
so that was it, just a break. You decided the time was right for you to follow your heart. In North Cyprus, a lot of people, like I say, we drink coffee, a lot during the day, men and women, and women in particular love to have their fortune told. There's a Turkish saying that says, don't believe in the coffee cup fortune, but don't be without it either. Yeah. That type of saying. But what interests me, I don't know how you find it in the UK, but we like to know things, or we might have a problem, or we might not even have a problem in our lives, but as soon as somebody, I'm sure you probably, if you meet somebody for the first time and they hear what you're doing, I'm sure all of a sudden they say, well, or tell me, what's going to happen, or do me a reading, whether they want it or not, whether there's a problem in their life or not. It's that sort of mysterious, mystique thing, isn't it? Tell me the future, or tell me what's happening in my life. Will I, be happy, or will I be rich, or it sounds like the Doris Day song there, Que sera sera. There is that sort of mystery, isn't there, that attracts people, whether you believe in it or not, or whether you are in a bad time or not. All of a sudden, I'm sure you get people coming up to you and saying, when they hear, can you do me now? Can I book you or something?
Yeah, it used to be when I was younger, and people said, oh no, that's a bit, don't like that, that's quite scary. Whereas now people are more open to it, as you say. And you do get skeptics, and they're hard work, some of them, because they block themselves totally, and it's like, and you just have to, sort of say something that triggers something, and they might relax and then accept it. But yeah, people once they find what you do, it's like, oh yeah, definitely. But have you also got that balance, as you say, because I get people that would like, come and see me every week if I let them, to tell them what they should be doing. But I don't work like that. I just say, no, leave it at least 6 months to a year, depending on what's happening and changes in the life. Because I'm just going to be saying the same thing. And you get the other people, you know, some people might come once a year, some people only come when they've got a problem. And it's just reassurance. Some people know what they want to do, but they're not sure. So if they come for a reading and you say, you know, it's a good idea to change your job, for example, they're happy because that's what they've been thinking about doing, but it's being brave enough to do it, and they want to know it's all going to be okay.
Right, so in a way you're like guiding them. Maybe they already know the answer, but you're sort of like pushing them in the right direction. Should I change my job? Or when you say now is the right time to change your job, for instance, then you know they're getting that reassurance from you. Or if you might say, well, you know, if I were you, I wouldn't take that risk at the moment. It's not the right time. Leave it for a while, and then you know that probably helps them to decide for themselves what to do. I want to ask you about. Do you think that you are maybe, in a way, a sort of psychologist for some people, or a life coach, or a mentor?
Yeah, you are in some ways, because it's almost like counselling. Because I find after I've given a reading to somebody, then they want to tell you their life story, and they want to reassure you know this is what you're picking up this because X, Y, and Z, and they like to talk. So I always leave time for them to talk afterwards, because as you say, they just want somebody who doesn't know them. And believe me, I see some really bad problems that people have. I don't judge anyone, but it's nice for them to get it off their chest and talk to me. If they don't want to tell their family, or they don't want to talk to people, say, you know, it could be anything. They're thinking of leaving their husband, but all their family like him and all their friends like him and they feel guilty. They want somebody neutral to talk to, and then it's easier for them to make their mind up.
Yeah. Very, very, you know, interesting, very, very difficult, I suppose, for you. Quite a lot of responsibility on your shoulders, in a way, especially desperate people who come to you and, you know, give me the answer, Nejla. You can't always give the answer. But
No, you have to, everyone has their free will, which is why a lot of people say, oh, a lot of psychics are wrong. But if you're looking way into the future, we can change our destiny. So it's not a get-out clause, it just means that we're actually, I always describe it, we're going along a road, you can turn right or left, and whichever way you take, you'll always get back on the main road, but you just go on a different journey. So although you've got that same destiny, there are ways of going about it, so we all learn along the way. So I will never tell somebody what to do, but I can give them guidance about what's going on, and it's up to them to really listen to what their heart's telling them, what they feel they should do. But they tend to know it already, and it's just being brave enough to do it, really. And when they've got that reassurance, it does help them. But I would never say to her, oh gosh, leave your job or leave your husband or whatever. That's their decision.
Yeah, obviously, you know, you're not going to turn around and take that responsibility. You know, go and get divorced, and then you know,
you can't.
It's up to the individual at the end of the day. I mean, I have to say, I mean, you know, we've met over the past few years since our first introduction, which was actually back in February last year. So we've known each other for over a year, and I've seen you back here on the radio and TV, you know, a few times. And I believe, you know, I actually honestly believe that, you know, what you're saying is, you know, true. People can read into what they want to read. And last time you did a reading for a radio colleague of mine, she was a little bit shocked after you left, and she spoke with other people. She said that, you know, my God, she's so right. And I think she was afraid, because you actually asked her, well, you know, ask me a question. And for me, knowing that person, I knew that she would probably ask more affairs of the heart. But she turned around after what you said, a few things about, you know, certain people in her life. She turned around and asked you about work, which was quite not her, but I think she realised she already got the answer before in previous questions. So I can see how it does work, and you know, and what you did say happened in the end. After, you know, you went back to England, but what she carried on with her life, in the end, what you predicted, you know, was true. Just to show everyone, and I saw this on, you know, you posted this on Facebook not long ago after you actually were in the paper, and tell us a bit about, you know, you were Take a Break's Fate and Fortune magazine and Psychic Under the Spotlight, and you very proudly, very rightly shared this because you got, you were actually approached by the magazine. Tell us what happened.
Well, I was asked to do this and I said no to start with, but my friend and my husband persuaded me to do it because this magazine is quite popular in England. It comes out monthly, and every month they pick a psychic to do readings for people, and you just get given their name and their telephone number, and that's it. And you have to do them a reading over the phone, and they mark you out of 10. and they tell you about yourself. And I said to my husband, oh, I don't want to be judged, you know, they might, you know, you might get someone who's a bit mean, who marks you down or whatever. And I said, and also it could ruin my reputation. And he went, no, go for it, go for it. And my friend persuaded me. In the end, I said, okay, yes, I'll do it. So I did. And as I say, I had two very lovely ladies. I got their phone numbers, their names, the first names, that's all I know, their name and their phone number. And I had to ring them up and do a 40-minute reading over the phone for them.
So how did that work then? I mean, you're on the phone to a complete stranger.
Yeah.
What did you do then? Did you have cards in front of you, or how did that work? What did you do?
Well, I do a lot of readings over the phone or Skype or anything like that because it's picking up on energy basically. And I just rang them up and said, right, we'll do this reading. And I didn't get a lot of feedback from them because obviously they're testing me. So I got the tarot cards and I just shuffled them for them, spread them out and started talking.
So even though they're not physically touching the cards, because they're at the other end of the line and you're getting their energy, you can do that reading for them.
Yeah, it's like being a surrogate, really.
Yeah.
So I'm actually picking the cards, but it's them picking the cards, not me. But I'm doing it for them. And then I just put the cards down, and then I gave them a reading, and then they put a little comment, and you know, at the bottom.
And just to show that, you know, you had two lovely ladies, Anne Rowe, 60, and Julia Jackson, 48, and they both gave you 10 out of 10.
I know, and it's very rare as well in that magazine, you know, because I kept buying it the months before thinking, oh, I don't know, one got 12 and a half, and then a 15. So I was very, very lucky, and I had two lovely ladies to read for.
So you have been tried and tested, as it says at the top of the article. I mean, well done. I mean, that's not easy. To be honest.
I was quite nervous, to be honest.
It can be quite nerve-wracking. I mean, for all you know, it could be somebody set up to, you know, to trick you and to really put you down. You don't know, do you?
No,
I mean, it could be somebody who's just there to expose a fraud, let's say, for instance. Oh, yeah, that lady knows nothing. Yeah. But, you know, you were lucky, and well, not when I say lucky, actually, you know, you are talented. You have the gift. What you said was right, and they picked up on what you said, and you picked up on their vibes. Amazing, really.
No, I was really chuffed with that, as I say, because, you know, I didn't expect, well, I didn't know what I was going to get, to be honest, but I thought I'd give it a go, and I thought if it wasn't very good, I just won't tell anyone I was in the magazine.
I won't show you on Facebook or on social media. No one can, you know, we'll just put that in the bin. No, that's finished. But, and I know that when you come here to North Cyprus, even though it's a holiday for you and your husband, you're often running around at different locations, doing special, you know, people know that you're coming, and that you're advertised. I mean, I've seen a couple of locations advertise you before you came. Obviously, you let them know that you're coming out, and then again, people can book you, or you'll be at this location at a certain date, certain time. And, you know, have you been busy again this holiday?
Yeah, I don't get much of a holiday, really. now people know me over here. You don't get so much of a holiday because I end up doing readings for various people, and they always email me, say, when are you coming over? But having said that, people I've done readings from here, I do via Skype as well. Yeah. So they have had Skype readings, so they can still get hold of me, and it does work just as well. Yeah. People say it's strange, but it does work. It's a bit like distant healing, the same sort of thing. People say, how can you give healing to somebody in Cyprus, for example, when you're in England? But you can, because it's energy.
What is the healing aspect really all about? I mean, when you say healing, what type of healing? What's wrong, and how do you fix it?
Okay. Well, it's not me that fixes it, but I channel the energies through people. I do Rahani celestial healing. And what that does, I just basically work with the angels, and I bring down the healing energy into that person I'm working on, and it balances all their chakra system. I don't know if you know about your energetic system, and the male and female energies within, and anything that's out of sorts. So, you know, depending what's going on with that person, if they've got, you know, say a bad leg or something, then I concentrate on the leg, and we just push the energies through the leg and help with the healing. But it's not actually me that's doing it, I'm channeling it. The powers that be, the universe, whatever you want to call it, universal energy, is put into you to help you heal yourself, basically.
Very interesting, amazing. And you don't even need to be in the same room with anybody else to do that as well.
No, but it's nice. A lot of people like to have their time on the couch where they can just relax. And most people fall asleep on me, and I can just get on because they're so relaxed, and I get on the healing. So they get that benefit of time out. Whereas if you're sitting at home, obviously it's much quicker and you're just directing it to them. It's not the same relaxation, but it still works.
I mean, again with the chakras, I mean, I've had, you know, certain issues that when I was lying down and somebody, was using the chakras, and you can actually feel the heat in certain areas. It's actually, you know, and whether you believe in it, whether you're a believer or not, it actually happens. You know, you do feel that energy.
That's right.
So there is something out there that is working in the world that we don't have to physically see or you know, understand totally. Now, last time you were on my TV program, we did a bit of a reading, and it was very sort of like spontaneous and very sort of like light-hearted. But I know that you want, you know, you want to sort of like discuss maybe some of the things that you do, just so that we can show our viewers about how things work. I mean, I don't know how we can start or where you would like to describe, but for instance, I mean, at the moment, what are you concentrating on? What would you say is your sort of like, you know, at the moment, the big thing for you?
Well, I'm doing a lot of teaching nowadays. A lot of people want to do learn healing, especially because Rahani is quite a new healing modality in the UK. I've been doing it since 2008. And more people are interested, and I've actually taught more people this year healing than I did for the whole of last year already, and that was, you know, before I came here, so only beginning of May. So more and more people are getting that. So the teaching side is quite busy. I teach tarot because more and more people are interested in it. So I teach the tarot, and as I say, it's like a muscle. The more you use it, the more you get it. We've all got that muscle, but it's a case of awakening it, and some people find it easier than others. I still do a lot of readings and healing, but I do a lot of teaching, and I do a monthly psychic class where each month we would talk about something different. So one month it might be about angels and angel card readings. We could be doing crystals. Last month I did about colour and how you can work with different colour and the energy of colour. So each month I would do something different, and that helps people see, you know, what they're good at, because it's like anything. If you go to school, you can't all be good at maths. You might be better at English. So it's finding what works best for you.
Yeah. Obviously, yes. I mean, you know, some people are, you know, maybe in tune more with certain aspects of this, you know, the cards and the stones and the healing and everything. And, you know, it's very, I mean, for me, it's very, very interesting because there's a lot to learn out there. Although I don't believe that everyone's very good at it. I mean, you say it's a muscle that you can use, but I think, I mean, obviously there must be people out there who say, look, you know what, you haven't got the right frame of mind, or you're not a believer. You know, I don't think you should carry on with it. And there must be some people who that negative energy.
Yeah, and also people that are not ready to do it because they've got enough other things going on in their life, so therefore it's not going to help them. Or I've had a person that really was desperate to want to be able to be intuitive and read the cards, and she couldn't. But when she did the healing, she just found that was her forte. And we've all got our things. I mean, I'm lucky that I sort of turn my hand to lots of different things. But some people just find that one thing and stick to it, you know. Obviously, I don't do everything. Otherwise, you know, you can't spread yourself too thinly. So my main thing I teach are tarot, psychic development and healing.
Right, very, very interesting. And of course, those classes are in the UK, but here in North Cyprus, whilst Neja is here, she is available to people out there who want to contact her. And of course, you can find her number and then maybe become friends and Skype and or whatever, however you want to contact. So there's always a way. If you want to find somebody, or if they want to reach you, there's always a way to find you, whether you are here or back at home in the UK. Should we show me something that we can, you know, maybe as a demonstration to our viewers? What would you like for us to see today? What could we...
Okay, well, I mean, as I said to you, I've bought a few cards here, and as I say, they're all different. So tarot cards are the basic deck that a lot of people use, but they're quite scared of them. So a lot of people use, like these, they're angel cards, and they're much gentler. I mean, would you like to pick one?
Go on then.
Give them a little shuffle. Give them a little shuffle.
I'll give a bit of a shuffle. I think the reason why people are scared of tarot is because, you know, in many horror films or in many things, there's always like, you know, the symbol of death or whatever, or quite a few negative cards, which obviously we don't want to hear about, do we? You know, people always want to hear good things. But obviously, you know, illness and death crop up in our lives all the time.
Exactly, and death doesn't mean physical death, it's the death of something. So the ending of a relationship, a job or whatever. I mean, as you say, a lot of people don't like them, but some of the tarot cards, they're quite scary, and as you say, these horror films, they just appear, the death card, and people always panic. So I always say, don't worry, that card's there, it doesn't mean physical death, you know.
Although, you know, I'm sure that if you saw something really, really bad that you didn't want to, there's a way that you would probably approach the subject, or, you know, you could maybe let people down gently in a way like, you know, I'm sorry, but, you know, this is going to, like, you know, your job is going to end, or you will be made redundant, or this relationship is not working, and I'm afraid to say that, you know, it seems like as if it's going to be a dead-end relationship.
But there's always a positive, because then I'd focus on a new job coming up or a new relationship, or you're going to be on your own for a bit, but you're not going to be alone forever, or whatever it is.
But that's, of course, your kindness in the way that, you know, you try and follow up something that's a bit negative with something more positive, to focus on the, that's probably your attitude to the
definitely,
reading,
because I'm a very compassionate person, and I want people to come and see me and feel better, whatever they're going through. I want to give them some hope that because things always get better. And I might, you know, be honest and say to them, look, you've got a couple more things to go through yet. However, you'll look back in 5 years' time and this will all be over, or whatever it is. But I always like to give some positive.
Excellent. Okay, so this is my card that I've chosen from the Angel Pack.
Okay, innocence. That's quite a sweet one. As I say, I don't read the writing on the cards myself, and I'm not going to anyway because I haven't got my glasses with me.
Okay.
And it's hard to read. But yeah, this is about, you know, as you say, you're not having a brilliant day today, so you need to cheer up and whatever. Go back. Do you remember when you were a child and you used to have fun and you didn't worry about anything?
Yeah.
And you had that innocent view of the world, not worrying about any strangers upsetting you or whatever, and you just played and you had fun. Do it. That's what this card's saying to you. You know, just forget about all your worries and everyday cares and just have a little bit of fun.
As I said before at the beginning of the interview, my wife is really into the angel cards, and she's got the cards at home, and friends phone her up and say, can you choose me a card today, and what's going to happen? I mean, obviously it's very, very, as you say, general. I mean, innocence there, you've interpreted it for me, and how you would, you know, looking at it in a positive way. Yes, come on, John, you know, you might be feeling down today, but, you know, go back to the carefree days and don't worry about things, you know, be innocent again. But like I said, I mean, for instance, my wife would, like, close her eyes and call an angel, and, like, something might happen, like, oh, somebody might be, look, I don't know, I lost my car keys, and then she'll get that message. Saying, oh, and then she'll find out, by the way, your car keys, have you looked in the, you know, in your cupboard, in your top drawer?
Exactly, because it's tuning into your higher self. Because we know a lot more, and you just get that, because it's getting that interpretation. Then you think, and like a lot of people use angels for parking spaces, don't they? And it's like, you know, but if you ask them, they're there to help you. So they put that idea, or you might hear a song or on the radio that would mean something to you, or whatever it is. You get signs from the angels for whatever, whether it's a white feather, the classic, or a penny from heaven, or, you know, but you just know, and it's that reassurance.
I mean, my wife, she hates driving, or parking, should I say, in tight spaces. She's not very competent at reversing into spaces. And she goes, right, I'm going to drive now. I'm driving now, and I'm going to town, which is very, very busy. I'm now going to call my, you know, my parking angel. Okay, angels, you know, find me. And it's 99% of the time,
you will.
There's a car that reverses out, and she's got a space.
I know, same here.
Where she wants.
It's great. But they're happy to. And a lot of people say, you know, should we use the angels for parking spaces, or should we use them for something that's a bit more
important?
Yeah, exactly. But do you know what? There's so many there, and they're happy to help us. They want to make life easier for us. And if we genuinely need to, and we feel uncomfortable, they don't want us to feel bad about having to reverse into tight spaces. So they'll help us out and make life a little bit easy for us. But you've got to ask.
You've got to ask. But some people might say, oh, that would happen anyway if you didn't ask. Coincidence.
Well, put it this way, I could drive around in car parks for ages before I used to work with the angels. Now, I drive in a busy car park and I say, come on angels, where's my space? And that somebody would just reverse out and there'd be all these cars going around in circles, and there was my space. And what happens every time, but always say thank you. I always thank them afterwards.
Excellent, excellent, very good. So we've done a bit of angel work there, and you know, that's a very sort of simplistic view. Again, very, very nice. I mean, angels are always positive, aren't they?
Oh yeah,
people love angels. I mean, you know, you go into a shop, and I mean, my wife's got, you know, loads of. I mean, I mention her a lot because the reason why is because this topic is very, close to her, and I'm trying to refer to what I know from her.
What she does. You're turning as well.
But, she's got angels everywhere in the house.
Yeah.
She loves that. It's very positive, isn't it? Maybe lighter than the tarot cards.
Yes, definitely.
Because we do get a bit, you know, scared about the tarot cards. But then again, the tarot cards, do you get more messages from the tarot cards, a deeper reading?
I mean, you can get it from the angels, but I like working with the tarot, but I do find they're quite deep and they can be quite heavy. But I like to go deep. I also work with archetype cards as well, and I work with the Tree of Life as well, but I didn't bring that with me. I'd pack everything in my suitcase. But that is quite deep, and that is really, and I call those my deep process readings, because they help people when they're blocked. For example, I mean, say someone's always picking a partner that lets them down or something like that, and there's always a reason, an energy reason, and there's a blockage somewhere up in their system, and we can see the reason why they're doing that. So it could be something like they're afraid to commit, so therefore they've got that blockage. And when they recognise why they're afraid to commit and what's happened to them in their past and why that's why they're attracting that sort of person. Whereas if they let that go and acknowledge that, then they go and meet somebody that is, that will be faithful to them or whatever it is.
That's very interesting, because a lot of people, young women that I've met, who are a bit unlucky in love, let's say, who've gone through relationships, they always ask, oh my God, is there some sort of not curse, I mean, that's a horrible word to use, but it's always like, why is it always happening to me? I meet a nice guy, they say, and then we have a few dates, and then in the end it doesn't work out, or, it always seems like, are they attracting the wrong type? Because subconsciously, but maybe they do want to commit, but is it, how do you, so then you can actually help them and say, look, the problem is here, but does it click then afterwards and say, do they realise then, okay, then so I'm going to go to, now I'm more positive, I can go and meet the right person?
Yeah, because subconsciously people are picking up on your auras, your auric field, which is around you. So they're reading that. So they could read, say for her, it could be, she's not going to commit for ages, but she's a fun lady, I'm going to see her for a bit and then disappear or whatever, Whereas if you know somebody, and if you're looking, because obviously if you meet, say, for a lady that's really wants a relationship and settle down, if you're not ready to, you're not going to be attracted to that person because you're subconsciously not ready to. Do you see what I mean? So we pick up these energetic vibes without even realising it. I'm sure you've met people and you think, oh, I don't like him.
Yeah.
You've no idea why, but subconsciously you're picking up something that's not comfortable with you. So we're doing that all the time without realising it. But some of these things sort of stem back from childhood or the way they've been brought up, or say there's a lady and in her family, her grandmother, her mother and whatever, they got divorced 2 or 3 times, for example. She doesn't want that, so therefore she's frightened of commitment because she thinks it leads to divorce. So subconsciously she's got that in her. But when she recognises this stems from your mum and your grandmother, it's their things, it's not yours, and she lets that go and releases that helps her commit. And I'm not saying everyone's going to be happy ever after, but it does help her have a different mindset.
So in a way, that's quite popular, not popular, but quite a common thing where people are blocked. Maybe you just can't get over that. The pattern repeats itself again and again and again and again until you maybe come along and open up their eyes to what's really wrong.
And when they recognise it and acknowledge it, it makes it changes. I had a lady that had been to various counsellors and psychologists because she never settled down in a job, and she couldn't work out why she didn't settle down in a job, and she always left when things were getting good. She'd leave, and she was so worried about being good enough, and she always thought, oh, they're not going to keep me, and she had self-worth problems. And it was like, the more she did it, it became a habit. And I said, if you recognise that, instead of running away, face it. What's the worst that could happen? If they do get rid of you, then, it's not the end of the world because there's always something better and there's a reason for it. But if you could just try it. And she said, do you know what? She said, I'd never picked up on that and I didn't recognise why I was doing it. And now she's been in a job for a long time and she's very happy. So it's just helping people you pick out these things. Or I've had things where I've picked it up with a school teacher saying something to somebody, and she said, gosh, I'd forgotten all of that, and that made her the way she was. So just little things.
Do you think, this is something again popular in North Cyprus, not popular, but something that's come up again and again. If someone's having a bit of bad luck, let's say in relationships or with jobs, do you think that, can you see that negative energy over them? Let's say maybe they had a bad time with somebody and that person, not cursed them, but has given them that negativity. Oh, I hope you know, I damn you, for instance, you know.
Yeah.
I hope that you never ever get happy in another relationship, you know,
Yeah.
somebody, maybe an ex-partner, you know. And can that work? Can that energy stay with that person?
Yeah, it's quite powerful, but what you've got to do is send it back, not to them, but back into the universe, and not take it on board. Because when you take things on board, then you're living that, and that's why affirmations are so positive. So, say for example, if someone said that person has got to say positive affirmations, saying, I will be in a good relationship, I deserve to be in a good relationship, I am going to be in a good relationship, says that every morning for however long, that releases that energy, and that has that positive energy, and it puts it out there. And it's, you know, it's called law of attraction, really. So whatever you put out there can happen if you've just got to believe and trust. You know, some people might say, oh, I want a really, really good job with earning X amount of money, and they put it out there and they say to the universe, that's what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
And they put it out there and they think, but it's not going to happen, then it won't. But if you really believe, it will. I mean, when I did this, I really believed I was going to be successful, and I really believed this is what I'm meant to do. And it's happening.
It's happening. Interestingly enough, recently my friend from work on Facebook wrote something saying, like, on a post, okay, I'm putting it out there, I'm dreaming of my dream house in the Boaz area, and I want my dream job to happen in a couple of years' time, blah, 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 blah. And she goes, right, it's out there now.
Yeah.
And she really believes it. So, and that's the first step. It may be realising your dreams.
Exactly. But, you know, as I say, if it's meant to be, and it's for your highest good, as they say, and that's part of your life path, it will happen. But you have to believe, and it might not happen next week, it could be 5 years down the line. But the point is, if it's meant to, you know, if it's something you really desire, then you put it out there, you can make things happen. So miracles can happen, you just have to believe.
Nedja, you are very, very interesting. We can carry on talking for a while, but we're going to have to start winding things down because, you know, we're coming towards the end of the interview. But you have a little pouch there.
I do.
And please share with us what's in that little pouch.
Okay, well, this is a dowsing crystal. I don't know if you've ever seen one of these.
I've seen some crystals before, but I haven't seen a dowsing crystal before.
Okay, so it's a crystal on a chain.
Mm-hmm.
And this is... shall I show you? It's probably easier.
Go on then.
So what you do, whether it's going to work in here with the fan and stuff, but basically what you do is, this is for somebody who, say, didn't want to read the cards or couldn't read the cards and they wanted to know answers to things. You could have yes or no answers.
Mm-hmm.
So you'd see it's got a loop at the top. You'd literally hold that between your thumb and your finger, and you'd ask it, just say, show me a yes, and you wouldn't move, you keep it still, and that's the yes, okay? It might move differently for different people. And now show me a no. See how it changes, and that's a no. So if I say, is my name John? It's going to say no. Okay. Is my name Neshla? Hopefully it will turn. See? And I'm not moving. And the crystal moves. And what happens is you can ask questions. So for your wife, say she'd lost something, you know, say you lost something in the house, and you'd go in the front room and you just say, is it in the dining room? And it'd say, no, is it in the, you know, see what I mean? And then you can pinpoint it and you can work with a crystal. But if you want something really badly, and you're not sure which answer you want, put it in an envelope, because you can't see the answers. So you'd have it, say, 2 envelopes like this. Yeah. And you just say, you know, is this the right one for me? And it could say yes or no. Is this the wrong one for me? That's no. So then you think, oh, right, that's what I've got to do. Yeah? Right. So it takes practice. I teach people, and sometimes it's moving like this, but after a while they realise it can start moving quite
Amazing.
Well. So yeah, so you can get them. This is a piece of citrine, but there's various crystals. They even have nuts or various, you know, special type of nut. Anything really, in all different shapes and sizes, but they're just a bit, say, fun. They're not fun because they're actually you can use them quite seriously. But for anyone that's frightened of the cards, that's a way to have a go, just to start off.
And funny enough, just to end on this, again referring back to what I know, my sister, she has this thing where she gets a ring, like a wedding ring like this, puts it on the chain, and then she'll go to the young ladies out there, and she can work out how many children. Well, supposedly how many children. Yeah. Again, if it turns around, if it goes in a circle, it's a girl. If it's like this, straight, it's a boy. And when it stops, that's how many. You know, so you might have 2 or 3.
Yeah.
And in fact, Like she might not know somebody and they've got a past. I think it actually shows the number of pregnancies. So it could be an abortion, it could be a lost child.
Yeah.
And even they come out in the rings and people be like,
I know. It's
how do you know that? You know.
And it is the same as that. You know, you don't have to have a crystal. You can do it with anything. As you say, a ring. I've seen people do it on a piece of string with a paper clip. But the thing is, it's energy. It's energy talking to us. So we're connecting and using that energy. Yeah. So as I say, you can use various different, and there's so many different things that you could use. But it's just getting those answers by different means.
Excellent. Well, like I said, we haven't got enough time to go through everything again. I mean, it's been such an interesting. I can't believe that the time's over. My director's actually saying to me, "Come on, John, wind down." So it's been very, very interesting. It's gone very quickly for me, this 45 minutes. But thank you very much for taking time out of your precious time here in North Cyprus to come to BRTK again. If anyone wants to find you, I mean, I know that by the time this program's aired, you're going to be leaving the island soon, because this is going to be aired on Saturday and then Tuesday, and I think you leave on the Tuesday.
That's right.
But this program is repeated. So if anyone wants to find you, I mean, you're on Facebook, aren't you?
I am. I am Neshla AV on Facebook. I've got my website, neshlaav.com.
And they can reach you via their website and via Facebook.
Yeah.
And then you can if they want to have especially people living here in North Cyprus, they want to meet you or chat with you, you can do a Skype thing or email each other or chat with each other via Facebook.
Or they can ask when I'm next over, so.
Do you know when you are coming back again next? Any plans or not yet?
Not at the moment. I haven't got any plans yet. It depends, but it'll probably be later on in the year.
But I'm sure those of you who already knew about Nejla's visit here have already been to chat with her at the various locations she's been at, and she really is a lovely lady, and I just want to say congratulations for your success. It's not easy to leave a 9-to-5 job and to pursue matters of the heart, especially when it's something like this, very, very precarious. But you are very good at what you're doing, and I'm sure that you give comfort to many, many people out there who just want to find a little bit of reassurance in this very tough life that we lead in the 21st century. So thank you very much, Nejla, for bringing some joy into people's lives and for being a caring person. And hopefully we'll meet again next time you come out here. And please let us know, keep in contact. And,
yes, of course.
Let us know, again, if you are in the press, or I know that you've been on TV in the UK as well. So
I have,
keep us informed about how you get on. But I wish you all the best for you and your family in the UK.
Thank you very much. It's been lovely to see you again and have a chat.
Thanks a lot, Nejla. And with that, we've come to the end of our very interesting chat. Not long enough what we want to learn about Nejla, but a taster of what Nejla AV does. And, in this day and age, we all need a little bit of a reassurance. And why not turn to the powers above or to the energy that we don't always see? Sometimes they can give us the answers. But again, Nejla AV is the lady that you can contact via Facebook or her website. And you can contact us here at BRT. We can put you through to Nejla as well. She's a friend of mine on Facebook, so you can find her via me as well. With that, it's time to wish you all a very safe and happy and very, very psychic and full of positive energy week. Until the next time we meet on A Cup of Conversation, take care. Bye-bye.